Boy, there's a bunch of them right here, Jeff. We're just slipping into them right now. Like, these look like a bunch of bass. There he is. Whoa. There you go.
He's got buddies?
Look, he does. He's got a big buddy with him. Look at it. You want to...
Come on.
Beautiful fish.
Look at Mike. Oh. Ah, buddy.
Double header. Wow, look at that guy there. You know, right now I'm fishing with a longtime friend, Jeff Gustafson. And Jeff is actually a guide as well as a professional angler in Canada. And we're going to look at a really unique soft plastics technique for catching smallmouth bass, or what I should say, more than smallmouth bass, is suspended bass. Wow. You know, there's a lot of different soft plastic techniques to catch bass, you know, whether it be roller jigging, Texas rigging, Carolina rigging. But what we're going to look at is a vertical fishing technique for fishing for suspended fish. And anybody who's a hardcore bass angler will look at this and they will absolutely be amazed.
We're going to catch a lot of fish today, and this is a technique that Jim pioneered 7 or 8 years ago at Rainy Lake. And since that time, a lot of these tournaments on these big waters up in Sunset Country have been won catching suspended smallmouth. So it's a good way to get big fish, big numbers of fish.
Oh boy, we're right here, Jeff. There's a whole bunch of them. Holy mackerel. Somebody's gonna get bit. You know, this technique really is applicable to a wide range of different bodies of water across the country. But the real key is deep water forage. In this lake here we're fishing, it's smelt. It could be tullibees, it could be shad in southern reservoirs, but you need large populations of deep water forage that really sort of sets the events up of how it gathers these large schools of bass on these deep water structures.
For the majority of the year, food is the determining factor of predatory fish in all waters. Seasonally, fish can take advantage of a wide variety of prey. You name it, insects, crayfish, and minnows are all on the menu. The habitat preference and the amount of these different types of prey ultimately dictate the location of game fish. In the North Country lakes, smallmouth bass love to feed on open water baitfish, specifically large schools of tullibees and smelt. Interestingly, when these fish are tuned in on open water baitfish, the traditional techniques like bottom bouncing tubes and crankbaits don't work. These fish are literally programmed to feed on suspended minnows. If your bait is not moving high in the water column, you simply don't get bit. Suspending soft baits like this closely resembles their food preference at this time.
Yeah, you can see they're sort of short and squat. They look different. Oh man, whole pack of deepies. You know, right now we're in. This is how deep I'm fishing. That's how deep you're fishing. Drop the bait down. Actually, a lot of times we're fishing just out of your line of sight. Something's gonna happen here in a matter of seconds. Watch this. We're just, look at it. There are fish all over. Loop, fly by. The odd thing is a lot of times when you're doing this and you're just holding the bait suspended and you feel like little bumps like that, and you think they're dinky bass, and do you know what they are? They're big bass swimming by the bait, and they're not really biting it. They're coming up and looking at the bait, missing it.
Drive-by.
Drive-bys, yeah, or flybys, yeah.
The real interesting part of this too is we'll actually pull fish 20 feet that'll come up, and you can watch them on the sonar come up and grab the bait. These bass, as long as you have generally pretty clear water, they can see and know your baits. They're way better than you think.
I think that one of the biggest things is also is getting the relative height of where the fish are willing to bite the bait. You don't want to, like a lot of times most bass anglers, when they see the fish down on their electronics, what they do is they drop the bait right down to them. What we're doing is we're holding the bait above them a distance and forcing the fish to come up and strike the bait. And that's a big part of it.
This is why it's so hard for people to do this, because we're actually not jigging. You hold that thing there, let it hover, and you get a bite, and it feels like a bluegill a lot of time. I mean, it's nothing, but when you set the hook, it's like, oh, wow, he wakes you up in a hurry, you know?
It's real high. That was really real high. Look at it, he's got another great big one there.
There's a big fish,
look at
like
that.
3 inches under the surface here. One thing about these smallmouths, is they, when you get them out on these, when they're suspended like this, they're not by themselves. They're
No.
they're grouped up.
Well, that's the interesting thing. This is like what you're talking, this big schools of these fish. I mean, tremendous schools of bass. And it's, once we actually got on this technique and we started messing around, it took a number of years for guys to really fine tune it. And a big part of it is the presentation, the subtlety of the presentation. You know what I mean? As you'll see, what we're doing, we're literally taking, this is a Trigger X minnow, and it's on a smooching head, and what you want this bait to do is just hover vertically above the fish.
Aha.
Hey, for more detailed information or to purchase any products you've seen on this show, go to lindermedia.com. And thanks for watching.